On the morning of November the 27th, 1944, an explosion occurred at RAF Fauld, an underground munitions storage depot in Staffordshire. Between 3,500 to 4,000 tons of ordnance detonated, leaving a crater covering 12 acres. The explosion claimed an estimated 70 lives, including civilians, RAF personnel and Italian POWs. This incident was the largest ever explosion in Britain and one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history. Ken McLeod was an armourer in the RAF. He was working at Fauld inside one of the caverns when the explosion occurred. His wife Joyce, who was a young girl at the time, lost her 15-year-old brother in the disaster. This is their story, told in their own words, and is dedicated to those who lost their lives in the Fauld Explosion.
Well, what happened a normal day? All of us went to work with two airmen and myself, all armourers, designated what to do by the sergeant. He said, take 3 Italians with you and carry on your normal work. So we went down the mine, a G shunt. It's a big cavern by the side of the main entrance. We work in there as normal, taking the tops of the boxes, inspecting ammunition, putting them back on, putting their stamp on, and suddenly there was an explosion, small explosion, and all the lights went out. Man, there was a terrific explosion. We all got together. The Italians, we don't know what happened to them. We had a terrible job getting out. It was pitch black. First of all, it had its comical side. We decided to join hands, and what happened? We all joined hands. We were going around a circle, and I said, we're going the wrong way. So we turned around and went back, and eventually we got out into daylight. It took us about half an hour. The incendiary bombs got off. Policeman was lying there with his head knocked off. Awful, awful. We were lucky. That cavern we were in shielded us because the blast went past the outside, you see. If we'd out there, we had it. There was 1 or 2 screams in the mine we had further down, and then they asked for some volunteers to go up to the cottages to see if we could assist there. Hopeless. A massive mud, and no, we didn't find any bodies. And then that night, we were sitting in a billet, warlocks and things, that want some volunteers. The Staffordshire Mine Rescue chaps that are in trouble, they want some assistance. And when we got there, the chap in charge of the Staffordshire Rescue says, we've got a body coming out. He says, one of our chaps hasn't made it, one of the rescuers. The gas had got him. And shortly afterwards, out came the body. They put it on a stretcher and started carrying it back. It was a miserable night. Well, what a rain. And I always remember this. As we were walking down, there was a big crater with this policeman, and we were carrying his body, and one of us slipped in the crater, and the body landed on top of us. Not a day to remember.
Well, we heard this. Well, it was more of a rumble, and we could feel the building shake. We felt it vibration, so everybody ran out onto the fire escape. We could actually see something in the sky. We thought it was smoke, didn't know what it was. I heard people talking about it, they'd heard it, that there'd been an explosion at Fauld. Of course, I knew my brother worked there, went home. My mother didn't realise what had happened. She had felt the explosion, but didn't know what it was. She hadn't heard anything, she was deaf. I went up to Fauld, into the main gate, and you couldn't really see any damage at the main gate. There was somebody on duty at the gate, and I asked him about my brother. He said, oh, he'll be at home at his usual time, he's helping with the rescue. Well, of course, he didn't come home. And we sat up all night waiting for news. And I think it was about the 3rd day we just got a telegram which said, sorry to inform you, your son is missing, presumed killed. He was 15 years old and he's never been found. And if it had been found, it would have been easier. Of course, he wasn't found. It makes it 10 times as hard. Very hard. We didn't really know the cause of the explosion until 30 years later. The crater's still there to this day, and afterwards we kept trying to get a memorial there. My mum wanted a memorial, because that's a grave. Crater is a grave for 18 people that were never found. It took 46 years to get a memorial there.
RAF Fauld continued to be used as a munitions dump until 1973 by both the British and US armies. Today the site bears a warning from the Ministry of Defence that the land still contains unexploded bombs. Please help to rescue and preserve more memories of the Second World War. Visit www.war-experience.org.